police union says the anti-cop rhetoric has to stop. They're blaming it for the deadly ambush on the Bristol police officers. A third officer, Alec Urado, left the scene wounded but was able to fire the shot that ultimately killed the suspect. This video may be hard to watch.
Shots fired, shots fired. More cars, send everyone. Officer shot, officer shot.
National Vice President Joe Gamaldi joins me now. Joe, does a murder like this happen if cops are respected the way they were immediately after 9/11?
No, it doesn't. And, watching that video, it's absolutely horrific. The cold-blooded murders of Lieutenant DeMonte and Sergeant Hamzy is absolutely tragic. I mean, these were great men, pillars of their communities, family men, and they're gone. And just like so many other officers across this country who have been victims of this denigration and demonization of law enforcement. I mean, for the better part of a decade, there has been a war on cops in this country, and we and our families have suffered the consequences. We're going to work every single day with targets on our back. People are hunting us in the streets, and this is not hyperbole, Todd. These are the facts. 2021 was the deadliest year for law enforcement in intentional homicides in 20 years. And in 2022, it's not getting any better. We're seeing historic numbers of officers being shot. Already 275 police officers. I mean, these attacks are a stain on our society. And every single leader in this country, from President Biden to Congress, state and local officials, they need to find their voice on this really fast and unequivocally and forcefully condemn the violence against law enforcement, because we can't go on like this.
Yeah, Joe, here's some more numbers. As of October 13th, 50 police officers in 24 states, including Lieutenant DeMonte and Sergeant Hamzy, have been shot and killed in the line of duty in 2022. I want to drill down on the timing that you alluded to in your first answer. Is this all because of the defund the police movement that followed the killing of George Floyd, or have the seeds for this kind of violence against cops, were those seeds planted earlier?
Oh, these seeds were planted well back in 2015 when we had hands up, don't shoot. That never happened. Obama's Justice Department said that never happened. But we had media and the politicians run with it. And ever since, they've treated law enforcement like crap in this country. And we've all had to suffer the consequences. Now, if Congress really wanted to do something to support law enforcement, why don't you pass the Protect and Serve Act, which would make it a federal crime to intentionally insult a police officer in this country? But we don't see a lot of movement on that bill. We hear a lot of people talking and wanting patting us on the back now that the midterms are coming around, but nobody's stepping out there and actually wanting to do something to stop the violence against us. We need to vehemently prosecute anyone who assaults a police officer in this country, and we need to make it clear that there will be no quarter for violent criminals who try to harm our law enforcement.
Joe, is all this violence emblematic of a serial lack of respect for authority that we're seeing not just against cops, but in literally every aspect of our society?
You know what, Todd? Let's just be honest. There is a culture of lawlessness that has taken hold in this country. It's been going on for several years now. That's why we see crime through the roof. Last year, 2021, was the highest rate of homicides we'd seen in this country in 30 years. There is crime and disorder everywhere you look in our urban communities. I mean, you can't even find U-Haul trucks in most of our cities because everybody's trying to get out. We can't continue like this as a society. We need to make sure that we are holding criminals accountable. We need to make sure that DAs and judges are doing their jobs. And you know what, folks? The midterms are coming up. You have two paths in front of you. Down one path is chaos and anarchy, and down the other path is law and order. I know which one I'm standing on, so everybody needs to go to the polls and vote for law and order candidates. That's how we can turn this country around.
And according to the polls, the proof seems to be in the pudding so far. We'll see what happens on November 8th. Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President Joe Gamaldi, thank you as always, sir.